All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing on with example 4 in solving equations by factoring. And again, this is tying in what we started with, where we already had polynomials for us and given. But this time, we don't have simplified polynomials. So we need to ask ourselves, how do I get that? How do I get monomials set equal to 0 so I can find out what my x values are? My brain kept looking down, seeing a polynomial, but hopefully you get what I'm saying here. All right, so just like the last video, what we're looking for here is the greatest common factor to bring out. And I see that the 2 and the 8 share a factor of 2, and the x squared and the x share a factor of x. There's my greatest common factor. GCF. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that outside of a parentheses. Now, I have to ask myself what's left. Well, in the first term, 2 divided by 2 is 1. X squared divided by x is just x. And then that's it for the first term. Now I have 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and x divided by x, which is just which becomes 1. Anything divided by itself is 1, even when it's a variable. So now I have 2 times 1x plus 4 is the same thing as 2x squared plus 8x. I don't like coefficients of 1, at least not writing them. And then I add into the original is equal to 0. And now that it's equal to 0, what I realize what I'm trying to solve is 2x equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. When I do this, I divide by 2 on each side to find out x is equal to 0, because 0 divided by anything is 0. I create a 0 pair over here to isolate that variable, and I find out x is equal to -4. And I have my 2 answers. Looking at B, first thing I want to do is I want to have all my variables on one side. That's just simplifying rules, right? So when I do that, I get 6n squared minus 15n is going to be equal to 0, because what was left when I moved that 15n to the left from the right is 15n minus 15n. Anything minus itself is 0, so there we go. Now I'm going to look for common factors. Well, 6 and 15 share a common factor of 3. And n squared and n share a common factor of n. I was thinking of how to write that. So what that means is I'm going to put this greatest common factor outside and divide each term inside. In other words, I'm going to take this 6 divided by 3 and get 2. I'm going to take n squared divided by n and get n. Then I'm going to be taking negative 15 divided by 3 and get a -5. I'm taking n divided by n, and they cancel to 1. So now I have all of this set equal to 0 still. So that tells me I'm solving 3n equals 0 and 2n minus 5 equals 0. When I do this, I'm going to come up with my answers for n. Divide by 3. Anything divided by 0 is 0. And I get add 5. Divide by 2. So n is equal to 0 and n is equal to 5/2. Ooh, this should have stayed up here. There we go. And there are my 2 answers that I expected to have.